Okay, let's turn now to that forecast because it's going to be really important this week.
Yeah.
Just, it seems dangerous in some sense.
Yeah, I think heat's one of those things, people always like, oh, it's just summer, I'm used to it. But, heat's the #1 killer of all weather phenomena. And people, because it takes people, off guard. They just take it for granted. And what happens is very young, very old, your pets, people that already have health issues, sometimes it'll catch you off guard, especially when it's the first heat of the season in many locations. We've been 95 several times, but this will be the hottest weather so far this year. On top of that, we've got these air quality alerts, not for wildfire smoke this go round, but because of ground level ozone. It's just an added thing that causes some respiratory issues for folks that have respiratory problems or the very young and old. So that coupled with the heat is always a big issue. And the heat's part of the problem because this ridge of high pressure, the heat dome, actually causes what we call a temperature inversion. Instead of the temperature cooling as it goes aloft, there's a warm layer which traps everything below it, including all that ground level ozone, which mixed, with the emissions from your vehicles, on top of that sunlight, that causes the ozone layer near the surface to be an issue, not the one we normally are protective of up in the upper part of the stratosphere. Now, temperatures you can see are basically pretty warm, but we do have a couple cool spots because of isolated storms and also some pretty impressive outflow boundaries. See that green line? That's a rush of cool air. These outflow boundaries can be really nice. They can cool you down, but also kick off additional storms. What happens is when it rains, obviously in this hot, humid air mass, where it rains, that's a cold pocket of air. It rushes out in all directions and becomes like a mini cool front. And sometimes as it plows into warm, humid air in the surrounding country, it can pop up a new shower or thunderstorm. And that's typically what drives a lot of our rain this time of year. And if you're right there, you see the storm and you see the one develop east of you and you go, oh, the rain missed me. That's just the nature of summer storms. It's nothing to do with where you're located. It's just the luck of the draw this time of year. We don't get reliable rainfall in the summer. It's the hit or miss variety. And oftentimes because they're thunderstorms, you hear them and you know they're nearby and you don't get a drop of rain. That could be the case the next couple of days, but the heat will be the bigger story as the temperature and the heat indices start going up. Mid to upper 90s for an air temperature, but it'll feel like 100 to 106. And by the weekend, we likely will see heat advisories because of the increasing humidity and the air temperature. That means it's more difficult for your body to cool yourself down. Sweating is the #1 way we cool ourselves off. The more humid it is, the less sweating works. So it just makes your body get hotter and hotter over time. There's a look at the tropics. We do have one tropical wave out there. We'll keep an eye on. Remember, we're nowhere near the peak of the season yet. 87% of all storms form after August 1st. So even though we've had 4 named storms already, we're just getting into the peak of the season. So prepare yourself now. We've got a long ways to go with all that warm water out there. Your Guy Roofing 7-day forecast. Hot, hot, hot temperatures this weekend. Please take it easy. Next week is technically a cool down, but temperatures will still be in the low 90s, but that should feel better than the upper 90s we're going to see this weekend.